Okay, you ready? Ready, Freddy? I thought I saw a bug trying to get me. Those bugs try to get me. Kids. We have this choice. The heart is a strong shore, and the ocean has many moods. It does, yes. With each day, we have this choice. We can build walls, block ourselves from the light, and suffer a dampness of the soul. Or we can live barely, shine on through, and suffer the nicks of erosion for living in the open. Most of us, myself included, live behind walls that were started by others and finished by ourselves. Oh, that's true. You know that's true. Very often, we fear each other without reason, the wall builders and those who shine on through. But it really comes down to how to make it through life, safely or fully. I confess this comes from one who struggles to shine on through, because in the end, not being touched by life is not that safe after all. What I've learned is that the more I risk being who I am, like a sun daring to shine, the thinner the walls need to be outside me. My first experience of this was a painful moment as a boy in which my mother had ordered me to do something. We were alone in my room, and I said no. I don't remember what it was she asked of me, only that her demand was demeaning and unnecessary. I wasn't belligerent, just quietly firm. I remember fearfully building a wall as fast as I could in anticipation of her anger. I had barely prepared myself when she drew her arm behind her head and slapped me with a vengeance. The wall hadn't worked. My very soul had been struck. She went to strike me again, but by this time my soul had somehow reflexed into a strength of selfness that she couldn't penetrate. I glowed. She stalled in mid-swing and called my father to enforce her demand. He felt my brightness, but held the line and struck me too. By the time he landed, I was shining through. It hurt for sure, but I was protected. There are times walls are necessary, but more often we can protect ourselves by being who we are. Neither hiding nor revealing ourselves will prevent our share of pain, but in being who we are, we get to be part of the universal stream, not just a nut in a shell waiting to fall. Did you have that kind of childhood? I could just totally feel that moment. So for the most part, I grew up with a single mom. And slapping was her. I never got spanked. I did get slapped across the face, and it was humiliating. Oh my God, for whatever reason, it was seriously the most humiliating feeling ever. And I hated it. And I hated the response. If she told me to do something and I asked why or why not, something like that, that response of because I said so just didn't make any sense to me. Now, of course, it makes more sense because number one, that's how she was raised. And number two, she had brain damage. You know, she had a traumatic brain injury. And I'm sure there were just things that overwhelmed her quickly. And she couldn't make decisions that quickly. And I'm sure she was fearful for my safety or whatever it was. But anytime I wanted a why for whatever was going on, it was not okay. And if I pushed it, I would get smacked. And I friggin' hated that. And so with my younger kids, I don't know if I was like that with my older son. I tried to always remember what it felt like to be a little kid, but also you're an adult, and sometimes when you say no, even if you give the reason, they're not going to understand because they're little. And so sometimes it's like, no, dang it, because I said no, because they're just too little to understand all the intricacies. But I know with my younger kids, if they ask something and I say no, and they want to know why, I do try to pause and take that minute and be like, okay, I have to somehow give them an explanation or try to make them understand why, and I will. And other times I'm like, well, I don't know why. It was just like the automated response. And I don't know why. So now I feel, well, okay, all right, and then I'll negotiate with them or relent and let them do whatever it is that they asked to do. But it definitely, God, I just totally felt and I cannot imagine being in that situation where you stand your ground and then she calls for backup and you still get hit by somebody else. And especially, that part where he said his dad saw that he was shining, his dad recognized that strength in him and then hit him anyway. Like, that's just, I don't know. I guess I've got the feelies all month. I don't know what's wrong with me, but I'm like on the verge of tears over that. And I hope that more parents are kind of getting to where if you're in a two-parent home, I hope that when one parent is being short-tempered or irrational or difficult, because we all are like that sometimes, I hope the other parent then is clear-minded and rational and has the ability to be like, no, let's discuss this, and work it out. Not that the kids are pitting the parents against each other, not a divide and conquer thing, but that there's rational and coherent discussion that at least if the answer is still no, there can be a solid explanation to the kids. And again, I know sometimes there's just not, and sometimes the answer is because I said no. There is that. And I have explained to my kids, there are days when it's going to be that, and I reserve my right as an adult and a parent to try to do the best I can to give you an answer. But at the end of it, if my word is no, my word is no, and that's the end, or if daddy's word is no and it's no, that's that. But I think we do try to really be mindful of that and work together for the best outcome for everybody. And it's a lot of work. I'm tired. But even now, as my children are becoming teenagers, it wasn't like when my son was this age, I just had him. I did have a foster son for a while, but he ended up getting in trouble and going back into the system. But my own son, I just had him to deal with, And now I have 3 hormonal teenage girls and 2 boys heading into that zone really quickly. What have we done? I'm kidding. No, I'm not kidding. Save me. Oh my gosh. I think that's the biggest tool in the toolbox, is to have some humor. You have to have humor or you're going down. So, mindful moment. We forgot about that. Let me find my glasses again. Okay. Mindful moment. Center yourself and meditate by turns on your sense of the wall you look out from. and on your sense of who you are that does the looking. See, that's, you look at things from your adult self, you look at things from remembering what it was like to be a child or a teenager. You got to look at different perspectives. Breathe steadily. As you inhale, close your fist and feel your wall. Breathe slowly. As you exhale, open your hand and feel who you are. After a time, practice bringing who you are out beyond your wall by inhaling and exhaling with your hand open. Ooh. After a time, stand and move about the room outside of your wall. Note how this feels. I gotta tell you, his advice sometimes sounds like a lot, but when you do it, it's some big work being done, some big medicine, I think. Yeah. All right, I love you all. Have a magnificent day.